Welcome to a Farming Simulator 19 Guide 2 with me, MrSealyp. Cows. Let's see if I can get a complete and comprehensive guide to cows. How to buy them, how to feed them, how to get productivity up, what to do, where to send things, what equipment, all that kind of thing. I've tried to cover all the angles here, but inevitably there'll be something I'll miss. I'm sure somebody will point out something obvious. But I'm going to start off with, I've got some stuff already set up, already laid out, but I'm going to try and go through every single step as we go. You've got to remember, if you're watching this video and you've been playing the game for a long time and you know how to do this, you're going to be watching this video looking for things I've missed. There are a lot of people watching these videos that are new to the game, that have no idea, and they're using it because they want to know how to do it. So bear with me, there's a lot to get done. First things first, we need to buy our cow enclosure, our cow pen, our dairy, whatever you want to call it. Placing things in FS19 isn't as straightforward as you might think. I've got the controls help window open in the left hand corner because we're going to need that. So first thing I'm going to do is go into my store menu and I'm going to go to placeables, animal pens in the top left hand corner, and I scroll across. Now I've got cow pasture for 100,000. And you can have a maximum of 50 cows in that enclosure. Starting out, that's probably your best bet. Unlike Farming Simulator 17, and there are a lot of differences now to doing cows on FS19, where you just had your cow dairy barn enclosure pasture, and you could have as many animals as you wanted. It would only ever show you a certain amount of them, but you could go up as high as you wanted to. You can't anymore on 19. So you've got those two options. You've got the cow pasture for 100,000, and then we've got the cow pasture for 300,000. Now the 300,000 cow pasture will hold 200 cows. That's the one I'm going to place because that's the one I've got down already. Now 300,000 is a big outlay. That's why you might be better off going for the small one to start off with until you get yourself up and running. But the principle's the same with either one you choose. So if I click on it, it's now going to give me the option to place it on the land that I thought I owned, which apparently I don't. I do own this land. Oh, right, okay. Well, hang on. Right, so then we've got green. So, here's the thing with placeables, and this is the same for any placeables. That's 300,000 to buy. Top left-hand corner, that says buy 541,000. Be careful. Where you place these will determine how much you pay. Oh, hang on. It flickered. Trying to find a spot is very, very difficult. What you can do is press L1 and you can raise and lower. So if I lower that, that will actually go down into the ground, but that's going to cost me, well, a little bit less, but not really a huge amount. Now the first one I placed, the one you can already see behind me, I placed for about 309,000 because it was completely flat. It went down no problem at all. So just bear in mind when you're placing these, where you place them, they can get very, very expensive. So if I click on that now, that will place it there, and you'll get whatever terraforming it needs to do to get it to fit the land. So yeah, just be warned, that's kind of how you do it. And now I've rotated it a little bit, it doesn't want to know. 479, it's not fantastic. But if I click on it, this is my test map, so I've got plenty of money sitting there, it's no problem. So if I click to install, it's now done it and it's terraformed it a little bit. So if we whiz to the back now where I've just placed that one, it will have adjusted the land to get it to the right height so it's level. So it's raised it up a little bit here at the front, it's put it flat here, and that's what you're paying the extra money for, is the terraforming. And the back corner, I think, of the plot will have dropped down quite a long way. So yeah, try and get it as flat as possible and everything will be fine. Now as far as what we need for our animals, until we've got an animal in the pen, it won't show me anything. If I go to the menu and I scroll across to my animals, it will actually say you have no pens or animals yet. Well, I do, I have 2 pens, but until I've got animals, it won't register with any information on there at all. So the first thing I've got to do is buy some animals, and I've got 2 options on how I can go about doing that. The first of these is we can do it directly around the side of the building here. We've got this little hazard marked area. If we click on this, it comes up with animal dialog box, L3, and then we can pick which ones we buy. First big difference, FS17 they were 5,000 pounds, euros or dollars per animal. On 19 they're 2,500, so they are cheaper to buy, although the pen is quite expensive to buy in the first place. So you can click down and you can pick whatever you want. It does say at the bottom X move. As soon as I pick one, it puts it on the farm side rather than the animal dealer side. Now then, there's obviously a fee of £200, euros or dollars. I think it's per animal, isn't it? Yeah, per animal, which puts the price up a bit to 2,000. Well, yeah, 2,700 per animal, if you want to do it that way. The other option of doing it, I'm going to come off that. I'm not going to confirm, is by going direct to the animal dealer and using a trailer. Bear with me 1 second. So I'm at the animal dealer and I've got my truck and I've got a trailer. Now this is one of the new ones. This is the Wilson, really nice shiny chromed looking. It's amazing. So if I go into the store for animals, I think, yeah, be under animals, not trailers, I think. If I go to animals, oh no, hang on, where is it? Oh, animal transport, there we go. Animal transport. So we've got the Betamax RDS 7500. That will take 6 cows, 9 pigs, 10 sheep. We've got the Micheletto AM19, which will do 14 cows, 21 pigs, 24 sheep. And then we've got the Wilson Silver Star, which will do 12 cows, 36 pigs and 38 sheep. The AM19 is your better option for your cows. It does 2 more, to be honest with you. If you want to go for something fancy, the Wilson's shiny and lovely and it's new in game, so it's quite cool to use. So your option here is, same thing, I can go into the dialog box at the store and this will give me the option for all of the animals available. So I've got to scroll down till I get to the cows. So when I click on the cows, same thing, 2,500, but when I click on one and it moves it over, there's no transport fee. So you can avoid the transport fees by getting your own vehicle and transporting them yourself. Those are your 2 options for buying and getting them to your farm. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to whiz over and I'm going to take the hit on the fee simply because it's going to be quicker and easier for this video. So I'm going to get, what shall I get? Let's get a couple of brown and white, a couple of black and white. So we get some Brahmans and mix them all in. I know you wouldn't normally, they're more of a South American breed, but a couple of those, and a couple of those. So for 43,200, we've got them. 40,000 for the animals themselves, 3,200 for our transport costs. So if I confirm that, we have now got cows in there. So we've purchased our cows. Now there are a lot in there moving around. Obviously this can take 200. If you buy 200, there won't be 200 in here. It doesn't work that way. They will put a certain amount in and it will reach a maximum as you build up. So now in our menu we should have some options. So now it says productivity 0. Reproduction rate is blank, next animal, etc. That's all blank. That'll reset itself in a minute. Cleanliness is saying 100% because I've got no feed or anything in there yet. But what I do need to give them is water. And it says at the bottom, animals always need water. They will not be productive at all unless they've got water. They have to have it. They also require a clean feeding area. The clean feeding area will link directly to productivity. If the feeding area is messy in any way, shape or form, the productivity will drop. Now obviously if any of those rations, anything they need drops down as well, the productivity will drop. So they need water and they need straw for bedding. And under food they need total mixed ration, and this is where it really changes as well. It says hay/silage and grass. So I'm going to show you a few of those things. I've got a couple of screenshots I took when I did this as a test a little while ago. At the bottom it says total mixed ration, effectiveness 100%. Then it says hay/silage effectiveness 75%, grass effectiveness 25%. So my way of thinking now is on this, and the way this is actually panning out, you can do one or the other. You don't have to do all of it. You can just do total mixed ration and you'll get 100% productivity. So you don't have to bother with grass at all if you don't want to. And hay/silage, one or the other or both, you don't have to. I'm going to show you that in a minute. But what we're going to start off with is the water and the straw. So Water, I've already got the Joskin Aquatrans. You can fill up from the lake, the ponds near here, on Felsbrunn, the rivers as well you can. But what you can also do is get this very, very nice placeable. So this placeable here, if you go into the store again, and we go across the placeables, if we go to miscellaneous, we have got this, the Lizard Water Station. It's £5,000, euros or dollars to purchase. It says the water station can supply your water tanks with fresh water. Now my first thought was, the panic is like it was in FS17, you place it and then when you come to get water here it charges you, which I suppose technically if you've got to refill it from somewhere you would be charged a fee, but it might be an annual fee, you know, for your water rates kind of thing. If you place this for 5,000 and you come here to fill up with water, it's free. So it's free at the pond, the lake, the rivers, but it's also free from here. So if you want water directly on your farm without travelling, you know, to rivers and things, it won't cost you a penny, which is quite good to know. So I'm going to put water in first, simply because it means we'll get some productivity. So R1 and triangle. And my water trough now is filling up. That's our first step. It's gradually rising. That's going to keep going, but it's not going to fill completely because I've got obviously more animals in here than I think the water will cope with. If I go back to the menu, as you can see, the water one now has gone up to 7,299 litres. I've lost a litre somewhere in transit. It's still in the orange, but we have got water in there for the time being. So next step on that list is straw. Now we can do this several different ways. We can do loose straw, which I've got there. You can also have loose straw but store it in the hayloft. Again, placeables, and we're going to come back to this in a moment too. If we go to silos and we scroll across, the Lizard hayloft is £90,000, euros or dollars, but obviously then you've got your placing, it may cost you a little bit more. That will hold 250,000 litres of each crop. I think it's each crop. And this will take hay and straw. So you don't have to actually have piles of stuff all over the place. You can put it in there. Around the back, you put it in here. You unload here. And then when you want to collect it, you collect it from the front here, under this pipe, which I'm going to show you later. What you can also do for putting the bedding is we can use square bales or round bales. You can either make them yourself by cutting down wheat, barley, and I think the same with oats, and then you can bale them up with a round baler or a square baler. Or now in menu, if you weren't aware, like I say, if you're new to the game and you're not sure how this all works, if we go to where is it, next one over, scroll down, you can actually buy bales now. So we can buy straw and hay. We can buy silage bales, round, straw and hay. You can't buy grass bales. You can make those. It's fairly straightforward and quick to do. So our couple of options we've got this, the Kuhn Primor. This is designed, it says in the menu, to take one bale. You can get away with a couple. I think it will take round as well as square. The back does come down, and you could. I've never quite understood the need for doing that, because you can use bale spikes and front loaders and wheel loaders and telehandlers to load into it. The other option we've got available in game at the moment is the War Z, and these are quite cool. So I'm going to show you this very, very quickly. And I'm only showing this because I had a couple of people comment to ask and they were a bit confused with something. So when you buy the War Z, if I switch now to the very front implement and then detach, you actually get with it bale spikes. So you get bale spikes with the implement, which actually works out really, really handy. Very, very clever. I did try this with a square bale earlier, and it will take a square bale. Unfortunately, when it got to the end of the 4,000 litres, the bale was still sat there, and when I took the bale out, it was on there, but it said bale 0, but the bale was still there. So I'm not sure it's supposed to take them, either that or it's a glitch. Now here's the thing with the War Z you need to be aware of. If we go across again to animals, somebody messaged and said, I don't understand it, my front loader won't attach to the War Z. There are three different types of this. The first one here will hook up to the L218 and the C232. Those are the little skid steers. So that first one will hook up to the skid steers. The second one is for front loader forks. The FZ30, FZ60, that's for front loader attachments. The third one will hook up to your telehandlers and I think the wheel loader. So there are 3 different types for different types of machinery. So if you've bought, for example, the first one and you're trying to pick it up with a front loader, it won't work. That's for skid steers. So be very careful which one you pick. Will depend on obviously what piece of machinery you can use it with. So what we're going to do, just grab a round bale very, very quickly. I found with this seems to go slow to start off with, then I suddenly get a burst of movement. I could have had this preloaded, but it just made more sense to. I'm just going to put it in like that. That's going to be, it doesn't really matter. It will go in, it will work. Like I say, the pre-more is easier, you can get stuff in it easier, but I think the side of this, once I've attached it, we can... Whoa, hang on. Let's go to the right attachment. I thought you could put the side down. Maybe you can, but I'm not too bothered. I don't need to do that at the moment. So what I'm going to do now is whiz round to the straw area, which is round the back. So I'll show you where that is. We'll get into this zone here, around this side. It will come up with R1 and triangle. And if I just get a little bit further, it doesn't really matter actually where you are in here. R1 and triangle. That will now blow that out, and at the bottom right is now showing that bale is depleting. And inside here, we should find in here. It will take a while because I've got quite a few animals. You'll start to get the straw appear here, and the straw will appear a little bit. There you go. You've got some patches appearing on the ground here, which lets you know that the straw is going in. If I go to my main menu as well, the straw is on red at the moment, but it will go up further. I do need to put more bales in. That's why the pre-more is a little bit better. Productivity is already saying 20%, which is great, but we still need to get our feed in here now. So here's the weird thing, and this is what I found with the War Z. That's now saying that it's done. 4,000 litres is gone, but the bale is still sitting there, and that's got nothing to do with the fact I haven't sat it in there the right way round or anything like that. If I take that bale out now, that will sit on the ground and it will be saying 0. So I'm not sure why it's done that. The pre-more seems to be working better. So just so you're aware, it seems to be working better. That's straw. It's in the red at the moment, but it doesn't matter. We've got straw in there. The next thing we need to worry about is feed. And what I'm going to do is tackle total mix ration first. And there's a reason for that. And the reason is this, that unlike FS17 where you needed everything in there to be totally productive, as it said in that menu, total mix ration, effectiveness 100%. You can just make total mix ration and you will be at 100% productivity. You don't need to be putting hay in here, silage, grass. So what I've got is the feed mixer. Now there are various different options available for feed mixer. I've gone for this one because it's just quicker to show you, because it's self-propelled, the Strautmann 1702. If we go into the menu again, we've got animals here. We've got the Knight RA142. That's a feed mixer with an 11,900 litre capacity. We've got the Silo King Trailed Line Duo. That's got a 16,000 litre capacity. And if we go to vehicles and we go to animals, we have got the VM 1702 double SF fast cut. Bit of a mouthful, but that's got a 17,000 litre capacity. And here's the thing, at the time of recording this video, these are the options available. I'm recording this December the 1st, 2018. If you're watching this video in January 2019, it might be there are new mods out, there might be other ways of doing it, and there are multiple ways of doing a lot of these things. I know a lot of people on FS17 had really fancy and clever automated feeding systems set up with belts and all different things. There will be loads of ways of doing this, but this is kind of the base way of doing it. Now you can fill this up with loose material. You can fill it up with bales, and you can fill it up from the hayloft. I'm going to show you first with loose. So if I turn it on, I've got to get that mixing ratio right. I normally do 1 part straw, 1 part silage, 2 parts hay. For this, it's over 16,000. I roughly work it in 4,000 lumps. It works a little bit easier. So I'm going to try and get 4,000 of straw in here, as close to 4,000 as I can get without going too far over. 3,000. I don't want to go too far over it. If I can, try and keep it as close to what I'm used to. Just makes life a little bit easier. Where are we up to? 3.6. A little bit more. 3,976. That's pretty good. So that's knocking on 4,000 litres. So if I do 2 parts hay, that means I need 8,000 litres, which will take me up to the total of 12,000. So as you can see, the bars are moving top left hand corner. As I'm putting the hay in, it's balancing that mix out. I want to get to about 12,000 litres, roughly 12,000 litres with my hay. It's just the way I do it. There's all different mix ratios you can do. Different people will do it different ways. It just all depends how you tackle it. When that gets to about 12,000 litres, I hope I've got 12,000 litres here. Thought I had 8,000 sitting here to take up to the right amount. Thereabouts. So now I'll move on to my silage, and what should happen now is when I get to my silage, the ratios will start to balance, hopefully. So as you can see, the silage is going up. Once that goes above, now I'm in the green, which is great. So I can keep putting that in. All 3 bars are in the green, and I should hit, there we go, 16,992. We're in the green. Can't remember what tip side. I think I might have on tip side left, but I'm sure it'll be fine once I get into the box. So when I take it over here, it says total mix ration. R1 and triangle. Yeah, I had the wrong side, tip side, but it doesn't matter. It's still going to the trough. And if I go back to my main menu, you can see total mix ration at the bottom is gradually going up. We're getting there. And if I just stick with total mix ration, I can get 100% productivity. I don't need to do the other 2, which is a bit odd. I find that a little bit baffling. I mean, it's great. Why is this still... No, that's still showing that I've got some in here, but it's showing as empty. So why has it done that? Great, every test I did this was absolutely perfect, and now it's not. Okay, so I'm assuming now this is not going to accept anything new. Anyway, so if I speed up time now, I'll get to 100% productivity. I don't have to add anything else in. Now the weird thing is, if I go to that menu, it does say at the bottom, hay/silage effectiveness 75% and grass 25%. Those 2 together make 100%. So I did do a test. The first picture I'm going to show you now is the one just doing total mix ration, and productivity is sitting at 100%. The next one I'm going to show you is I just did hay, silage and grass, which technically, according to this, it says 75 and 25% should give you 100% productivity, but it doesn't. As you saw from the picture, it only gives you 80%, which I don't understand. So it depends how you want to go about doing it. Total mix ration is probably the way to go if you want 100% productivity. So I'm not sure this is even going to accept anything now, because it's gone wrong. It's glitched. Well, it says start filling, so I might get away with it. So what I'm going to do now then, is I'm going to start filling, and I'm going to put 4,000 litres of straw in. So press on start, about 4,000 litres. Now that's done a mix already, which is a bit weird. Now I'm going to click on it again. So I'm doing this from the hayloft this time. So I'm doing my straw and my hay from here. Press start again, take that up to about 8,000, then up to 12,000. And all I've got to do now you can't store silage in there, and like I say, the point I'm trying to make with this is, because at the time of recording, if I go to my placeables, under silos, the silos you can buy and place do not take hay, straw, silage, total mix ration, anything at all. If you're watching this months down the line, there may well be some modded silos out there that will hold all of these things now. So what I should be able to do now, turn that on, and the same as I did before, just add my silage in until we get into the green. We go up to 17,000, which is roughly there, and we've got our total mix ration. So I've done it loose on the floor, I've done some from the hay loft, and the last lot you can do with bales. It'll be 1 straw, 1 silage, 2 hay, using the ratio that I use. So it really does come down to what you prefer, how you prefer to do it. Hay loft is a good way of doing it if you don't want to have bales sitting around everywhere. It just all depends, you know, the way you want to tackle it. But that's the total mix ration. Should be getting further up now. Oh, we're into orange, but not into green yet. I'm hoping this empties properly this time. Yep, brilliant, we've emptied perfectly. So I'm not going to show you with the bales, like I said, it's one, turn it off, yeah, into that one, or even into the trailed one, I would put 1 straw, 1 silage and 2 hay, and that will give me the mix I need. Now in this one here I've got grass, so if I did want to put grass in, I just take it round and I put it into the trough, the same as I did before. Then my grass would go up. But realistically, if I speed up time now, I'll show you. It's pointless putting grass in, and that's what I think is a little bit odd. If I let this run for a couple of seconds, well, a few seconds, the productivity will jump up to 100%. So why bother putting grass in? Why bother filling up the hay and silage one when you just don't need to? Go back into the menu now. Productivity 100%. So that's technically all you need to do. Make your total mix ration. Now if you can't afford to buy the total mix ration equipment, you might want to start off just doing grass and hay. That'll give you 80%, which is pretty good to get yourself going until you can afford more and then move on. It depends which way around you want to do it. If we look in there now as it's sped up, it's now giving us a reproduction rate. Because we've only got a few animals, we haven't got many. We've got manure being produced, we've got slurry being produced, and we've got milk being produced. So, oh actually, while I'm still on that menu, I will just mention this. On FS17, when you made total mix ration and you put it into the trough, it would split it 1/3, 2/3. It would fill up the total mix ration bar, but it would also put a load into the hay silage bar. On FS19 it doesn't do that. It will all go into total mix ration. If you do hay or silage separate, it will go into the hay silage bar. So it doesn't split it anymore. That's another big change. I thought I'd mention that. Now the next thing we've got to think about is the cleanliness side of things. So that top bar on the right hand side where it says cleanliness, that's dropped down to 92%. Because that's dropped down to 92%, my productivity has dropped down to 99%. If I leave that and don't do anything about it and that continues to drop, so will the productivity. If I run out of water, I'll lose all productivity. Straw runs out, the productivity will drop. Rations run out, productivity will drop. So you've got to make sure you keep this all up. It has to be there. So as far as cleaning the feed area goes, this is your feed area. You can do this with a front loader and bucket, you can do it with a skid steer and bucket, you can do it with a telehandler and bucket, wheel loader and bucket. There are different options available. Something that kind of moved over from FS17, which I'm glad still works, is the pickup conveyor belt, the Lizard S710, I believe. If we go over to machinery and we go along to conveyors or belt systems, Yeah, the Lizard S710 is a pickup conveyor belt. This works very, very well cleaning feed areas. Now, there's only one downside to this. This has changed to FS19. You can enter it. Actually, I need my help menu back open. I don't remember turning that off, but okay. I did. I enter the vehicle. And now I can unfold. It says unfold belt, but do that and it lifts that up. Now, on FS17, if you just press start engine and drove forward, that would automatically clean the feed area, pick up off the ground, fantastic. But as you can see, that's not working on 19. Because what they've done is they've changed it slightly. So whilst you start the engine, you can move it and you can change direction and whatnot. If you want it to pick up... Oh, I forgot to change the time back, didn't I? So I thought it's getting dark. What's going on? If you want it to pick up from the feed area, we need to press L1 and turn on belt. So when we turn the belt on, it will actually, this is going to be hard to see now, isn't it? It will clean up those little specks that are on the floor. Brilliant. And it will unload them into the feed trough area, which it's still doing marvellously. But we need to turn the belt on. So don't forget that. If you come back to clean your feed area, if you just drive forward, it won't pick up. If you're wondering why it won't pick up, you need to turn the belt on. Turn the belt on and it will clean the feed area. No problem at all. So if I stop engine and get out, my feed area is now clear. It should say cleanliness. Well, that'll need to reset because it was at 85%, but that's changed. That will go back to 100%. Productivity will go back to 100%. Fantastic. So that's our feed, that's our total mixed ration, that's our water, that's our straw. We've bought our animals. What do animals produce? Well, they reproduce themselves when you've got enough of them. But what they also now produce, well, they always used to produce milk. On FS17, the milk automatically sold at midnight. On FS19, you sell the milk yourself. So it will build up in there. You've got the milk churns around the side here. And what you do is you get yourself a milk container, lovely chromed one here. If we have a look into animals and scroll across, we've got the Lizard MKS8. That's 25,000 to buy. It's an 8,000 litre capacity. That will take water as well, but it will do milk and water. It transports liquid. Or you've got the big one, the MKS32, which needs to be pulled on the back of a lorry, truck, semi, whatever you want to call it. That's 32,000 litres for transporting your milk. So what I could do very, very quickly is jump in the John Deere. As you can see now, the feed area is clear. All those specks and spots have gone. Hook up. Drive this into the milk churn section and it will come up and say start filling. If I press L3, it gives me option milk. I've only got 536 litres so far, but if I press start, that 536 litres has gone into my milk tank at the back and I take that off to be sold, which is all very nice indeed. Where can I sell it, you ask? Well, if I go into this menu and I scroll across till I get to the milk churn tank thing, milk churn, you can sell it at any of the sell points. The grain elevator east on this particular map, but as long as it shows it under that milk container, that's where you can sell it. Train station mill, I can sell it. It's a good price at Port Southeast, 1,063 for 1,000 litres. I've only got 567 litres, but that'd be $500. It's a big outlay in the first place. Buying the property in the first place, and then obviously buying them, the actual cows themselves, is fairly cheap. Producing straw, getting the water, that's no problem at all. Making total mixed ration, once you get yourself up and running, it works really, really well. One thing I haven't mentioned, that's placeables. The placeable farms, because I said before, on FS17, you would start a map and you would have your dairy, you'd have your cow pasture already there, and you could put as many animals in as you wanted. A lot of people were concerned that because you have to place these one at a time, and this will only hold 200, How do you build up and have a dairy with 2,000 head of cattle? And I know a lot of people like doing that. They have massive dairy farms with so many cattle, and they'd make a huge amount of money on milk. You can place multiple ones of these. I tested it earlier, bought a load of land. I placed 10. It would allow me to place 10 of these. But you place 10, that's 3 million. That's if you can get them to sit flat on flat land. That's a lot of money to be paying out to have a big... And you can only have... That's a maximum of 2,000 cows. So on any map, as it stands at the moment, you can have 10 of these placeables put down, which will give you a maximum of 2,000 cows. You can't get any higher than that. So if you wanted to have a 5,000 head dairy farm, it's not going to happen. Not at the moment. I'm trying to wrap my brains now to think, have I missed anything? I know I've whizzed through fairly quickly. So just as a very, very quick recap, water around the side. You can get water free, or you can place the water container and get your water free from there. Straw, you take it round, you blow it out of one of the blowers. Now I said you can do it loose, but I actually don't know if you can. Actually, you know what? I don't know if it'll take out this anyway, but... Or whether it does have to be done by a blower. You know what, it's worth a try while we're here. 2,000 litres, that's good enough. Let's raise that up. Quickly whiz round there. The Coon Pre-More works very, very well for blowing straw. That'll take a couple of square bales, maybe 4, if 3 or 4 if you can place them in there well. The Warsy's a great bit of kit, comes with a bale spike, but seems to be a little bit glitchy. Oh yeah, nice, okay. So R1 and triangle. And my straw went up. That's good. So yeah, you can do it loose out of the mixer wagon, or I'd imagine out of a loading wagon if you want to. I don't think you can do it direct with bales. I haven't tried that, putting a bale down, but I'm conscious of time. As far as feed goes, my advice would be just go total mixed ration. Total mixed ration, a mixture of silage, hay and straw. That will give you 100% productivity. You don't need to mess around with grass or hay or silage on its own. Do a mix and you'll get 100% productivity. If you don't do a mix, you decide to just go hay and grass to start off with, you'll only get to 80% productivity. Cleaning the feed area, use a bucket, scoop, anything you want. This works really well. That again depends how you want to tackle it. You produce milk and you sell that. And as far as selling the animals, if you want to, if you produce a load of extra animals and I assume if you're at 200 and you get new ones, you've got to sell them because it won't hold any more. That's an interesting thought. I hadn't thought about that. So what I can do now, if I want to sell any, if I go across here and I click on that moves it back over to the animal dealer. If I do another one, moves it back over to the animal dealer. I can sell them back. To be fair, that's not a bad drop. 2,500 to buy, selling them back for 2,000. That's not a huge decrease. I thought it'd be a lot worse than that. If I click confirm, I've sold those two. So I've got 4,000 back. If you want to, you can do it with an animal trailer, take them back to the animal dealer, and then you won't incur the fees. So that's the whole process. Placing the farm, placing the dairy, the pasture, buying the animals, feeding, straw, water, TMR, milk. I haven't actually taken the milk off to a sell point, but you take it to the sell point, it will sell. Just drive over it, it will give you the option to sell. And that's cows. That's pretty much everything. Like I say, I'm sure I've probably missed something that someone will mention. There'll be a couple of things where people said you can actually do this or this instead. There will be loads of different ways of tackling the same problem. And again, that's what I love about Farming Simulator, is that everybody approaches it with a different way of looking at it, a different way of thinking. They'll use bits of machinery and equipment in ways that, one, they weren't intended for necessarily, but in very ingenious and clever ways to solve a problem. The bigger your dairy gets, and you'll find people have silos with conveyor belts that will automatically load into things, and it's very clever what people manage to do. So I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do, Thanks for watching.